Funny, speaking about adaptations, man. The media had asked SGA, and the media is obsessed with fucking large markets, man. They've
No, dude,
actually asked him
they'll never
about,
give that shit up.
huh?
They'll never give that shit up. Imagine being the first scene and the first one of the questions you're asked throughout the season is,
Yeah,
"Hey, are you interested in going to the Lakers or going to the Clippers?"
yeah. It's like it's an obsession that the
Yeah,
media just hasn't let
yeah,
go yet, man. Not realizing these guys got to uproot their lives and kind of start over in a way. But they asked SGA about, does he feel like he needs to play like in a bigger market, which is ridiculous because he kind of has everything he needs right now in Oklahoma City. But SGA kind of gave an interesting response, and I think organizations like the Lakers should pay close attention.
I'm done. We played a lot before he signed his extension this summer. There's a lot of talk about, if he had one foot out the door going to New York. It seems like there's this whole way of thinking that, every small market star is going to bail at the first sign of trouble to a bigger city. So I want to ask you, Shay.
I was like, that's a you
Do you
question.
think, not like, I'm not going to ask you. Do small market stars, do star players still need market size, or does that still matter?
Hmm. So, me personally, because I can only speak for myself, I love Oklahoma City, and I can't see a world where I'm not in Oklahoma City. Market, no market, I don't, I don't care. I love where I am. I'm comfortable where I am. I love the people in the organization, the people around me, and those are the things that matter. I go to work every day with a smile on my face. Me personally, the market doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter to a certain extent, but as long as I enjoy what I'm doing at a very high level, love the people that I'm around doing it, market doesn't matter to me.
So do you think the whole idea was markets make stars? It seems like because the internet is shrinking the world, that stars can pop up anywhere. What do you think of that notion?
Yeah, the internet does make it easier for people to be seen. Now, I can only speak for myself, and I play this game to win championships, and that journey is all that I care about. The coverage I get, I can't control. The ranking I get, I can't control. I can just be the best version of myself for my team to win a championship and have fun doing it every day. And that's what really matters to me in playing basketball. And as long as I have that, I'll be okay regardless of where I am.
Yo, Lakers better be paying attention, man, because I don't know. them
yeah.
days, them
The
days
big
about just going
Big
to
players
LA
don't care
just to
about big
go.
markets. They care about opportunity. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're a well-run franchise. It makes sense why. It makes sense why Shea would want to leave. And he's getting like the Converse ads. He's getting everything he needs, anyways. Like in terms of like outside revenue of basketball.
And he's getting the visibility regardless.
Yeah,
He just needs a couple of viral clips. Even his captions. He's in Oklahoma City, and his Instagram captions are going viral in the NBA social media universe. From time to
yeah,
time.
dude. It's fashion and shit that's popular within the kids and all that stuff.
Now, does this hurt franchises like the Lakers?
100%. I'm gonna be honest. Even the Clippers hurt the Lakers. To be honest, bro, that new stadium that the Clippers have.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching wrestling, bro, and that stadium is amazing. Like just performing in that stadium, I'd imagine like I'd imagine I'd much rather want to play there than anywhere else.
It makes sense, but the Clippers, they kind of still have an advantage of being a big market. But it's interesting because we're seeing that there is still a disconnect, right? Look at the Christmas Day games. Small market Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, popular with the
Yeah,
with the youth. And when I say the youth, I mean like kids that are anywhere from 8 years old to like 15. Because that's the demographic the NBA is really struggling to get. That's Ja Morant, that situation, they didn't put him on Christmas. Again, SGA, real popular with the youth. Even kids beyond 15, all the way up until I would say from like ages 9 to like all the way to like even 40. See his social media, his clothes, his style, his fashion. They didn't put him on Christmas. I believe there's a disconnect with the national media because most of them are coastal. New York,
Yeah.
Boston, Los Angeles. There's a disconnect with, hey, we're not covering these guys as much. Oh, we don't want to put them on national TV because they're not New York, LA, or Boston. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like they think the smaller market teams are like a farm system for these places. Well, when at the same time the internet has kind of made, you know, all this flat. I don't want to say the internet. Yeah, the internet in a way has made the world flat.
Yeah, 100%. Now it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Like
matter to an
you
extent.
could be from Nebraska, and if you got in a mainstream appeal, you'll be famous. You don't need to move to LA, and unless obviously Hollywood or Broadway, you don't need to be. You don't really need to move in order to be famous.
The only person I think Jeannie Buss has not adapted to this.
Yeah, Jeannie Buss hasn't adopted. She's kind of an old school owner.
Yeah, she's like, oh no, we're LA. Who doesn't want to come to LA? And I'm just thinking
Yeah,
like,
no, it doesn't matter anymore. When your front office is ran by Kurt Rambis, it doesn't matter anymore.
yeah,
Rob Pelinka, who cares?
also when every team is rich,
Yeah,
every NBA team is rich. Like especially the way they're gonna do things now, which is kind of more NFL with the new TV deal. They kind of structured everything so everyone is eating almost the same pie out of the revenue.
yeah,
What happens when the NBA goes the NFL model route, where you see even like what the NFL, they can have a team like the Cincinnati Bengals go to the Super Bowl. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, so it doesn't matter. Like people, that's a good thing I would say about the NFL. People tune in for like a Bengals versus a Browns game on Monday night.
Baltimore's one of the biggest team ever.
Facts. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like people like the product. I feel like it's like the media's kind of adapting to the shift because they have no problem covering the NFL like that. They'll cover a Browns game on Monday night as if it's the biggest thing in the world. But when it comes to the NBA, they'll look at the Cleveland and be like, "Oh,
who cares?
no, no." They'll be like, do you guys think you need to go to a big market?" So it's like, why all of a sudden there's a switch?
Donovan, New York. You know?
Yeah, all these rumors that we seen
Yeah,
was sort of a narrative that was created by them.
yeah.
Donovan Mitchell was never going to New York. Paul George chose OKC over the Lakers. You know, Kawhi skipped the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been a lot of
Yeah.
shifts
DeRozan went
going
to
on.
two other teams. DeRozan went like he re-signed with the Toronto Raptors instead of going to the Lakers.
Yeah,
During like what 2014, not 2014, like 2016. I forgot what year exactly.
yeah. LaMarcus.
Carmelo Anthony skipped. Carmelo Anthony re-signed with the Knicks. There's a lot of cases you could bring up.
Well, yeah, that doesn't count because that was already a big market. But one case I'll
Yeah.
bring up is LaMarcus Aldridge choosing San
LaMarcus
Antonio
Aldridge.
over the Lakers.
Right, Kevin Love also picked Cleveland over the Lakers, but then again, LeBron James was playing there, so
True.
it's kind of a, it's kind of a, like, all right, yeah, that's easy.
But there is a level of adaptation that hasn't really quite sunken in yet
Yeah,
with the media. They just haven't really adapted yet.
media, maybe some organizations. I think Dolan's accepted it, so credit to Dolan. You know, he'd be the last person I'd assume that would realize, like, yo, you know, I can't be, we can't sell New York to be what we want it to be at this point. We have to actually put a winning product out there. And it took Dolan a long time to kind of figure that out because he brought Melo and he kind of hoped everyone else would follow suit and play for the Knicks. It didn't work out that way.
Nope. And then also look at LaMelo Ball. He's out in Charlotte. They don't put him on national TV, and he has yet.
And they're not a great team either.
Yeah, and then yet he has one. He's one of the top All-Star people to get votes.
Exactly.
More than Anthony Edwards. More than what's his name? Also, he got more than Anthony Edwards. More than another popular player they love to promote. More than Ja Morant.
John Morant. But even Ja, they're more hesitant to promote now.
They're more hesitant to promote, but that never stopped the fans from voting. Like Allen Iverson, they were always hesitant to promote him, but the fans wanted to see him.
But Allen was kind of a different discussion, right? I think the NBA just kind of, they wanted to be much more of a, in their mind, like much more, like they didn't really view Allen Iverson as a friendly image because of negative stereotypes of the time. But I think with
True.
Allen Iverson, with John Moran, has more to do with actions. I think Allen Iverson is more to do with ignorance because you can't really pinpoint of extremely controversial Allen Iverson moments outside of like what him being emotional towards journalists. Like, who gives a shit?
True. The only thing is that never stopped the fans from messing with
Yeah,
that player.
yeah.
Like, even though the fans knew that they weren't gonna promote Allen Iverson like that, the fans knew it, but they still messed with him. But that's the
They
thing here.
forced
Like,
they forced the league to promote him though. Like, that's the difference. Forced him to put in NBA covers, made him the highest selling jerseys, all that stuff.
yeah, but that wasn't in the league's doing. Like, we could tell when a player has backing behind them.
Yeah.
AI never really had that backing behind him like that from the
No, he
NBA
didn't.
side.
Neither did Kobe up until like the last like two championships. If you want
No,
to keep it
Kobe
real.
did. Kobe did.
No,
No,
man,
he did.
no,
No,
no.
no, no.
Kobe had that. Kobe had that case, so they're more
No, this is
hesitant to
before the
promote him.
case. People forgot. People forgot.
Oh
Oh,
no, the case before the case, yeah, of course, because I remember the '64 commercials. But I'm talking about like Kobe at his peak. They were much more hesitant after the cases
no, yeah. After the case is facts, but
because they were
before,
much more. They were much more like, oh, LeBron, Carmelo, we got new toys.
yeah, but before the case, they pushed him way more than Allen Iverson.
Yeah,
Way.
yeah, I agree. Kobe
it was
was
very
like,
heavy, very heavy.
yeah, because he was like a friendly face, and the Lakers are, a championship like team. Yeah, that I agree with. But I'm talking Kobe, like Kobe up until what 2005, up until like 2010. Like it took the league to finally league was kind of forced to promote Kobe, and Kobe had to do a whole image change with the whole jersey number and Black Mamba and kind of bring in a whole different persona.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
tough. It was tough times, but there's always been a disconnect, and I feel like sometimes there's always been a disconnect, and like we were saying before, with LaMelo having all those All-Star votes, but yet we see Anthony Edwards being put into primetime slots and Christmas, constantly on
Yeah.
TNT. There's definitely a disconnect. There's definitely a disconnect from time to time. And I think the whole small market thing, if the media actually opens up their eyes, they'll see like, how is LaMelo Ball getting all these votes? We never
Boy,
the NBA doesn't even market him like that.
I mean, to look at even Banchero, he only played 5 games. He got like what? He
Oh
got
yeah, yeah.
788,000 votes. That's
Facts.
impressive. Yeah.
That's
Only
gonna
played 5 games too. Yeah.
that's gonna be another difficulty for the media, is how to promote some of these upcoming teams. The Cavs, the Orlando Magic, the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the first time where I think the NBA in its whole history, as far as the media, had to promote small market teams. I think the NFL, they already have a blueprint of doing it. They've done it for the
they're
Super
brilliant
Bowl.
at it. They're brilliant at it. I think the NBA is kind of stuck. They're not baseball level like bad with it, but they're getting up there.
Man, they don't know how to promote unless it's Chicago, LA, Detroit, New York, or like one of the big kind of city teams. Like, they don't know how to promote.
Houston, Dallas. Yeah.
Imagine if the Cavs and the Oklahoma City Thunder make the finals.
No, they don't know what to do. Bro, they barely knew what to do when Denver made the finals.
But we've seen that it works.
Yeah.
Because what? The game between the first game between Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cavs, it got some of the highest ratings of the whole season.
And it was a very fun game. Darius Garland was incredible.
But the thing is, I think what they're struggling with is how to market that. I think they need to market the teams. It's gonna be interesting, the NBA going into streaming. I'm wondering how they're gonna advertise all these things while at the same time it's hard to find the games. It's gonna be harder to find the games online. You got it, because one night you have to log into NBC, then Amazon, then ESPN. It's like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Just to watch an NBA game, that's a lot. But
There's no more local channel games, no?
it depends what market you're in. I think the Suns have it, and the Utah Jazz have it. I think the Dallas Mavericks have it, but it's not every market. It's not every market.
I love watching Banchero play basketball, and I'm kind of happy that he's back.
Man, he's back, and I'm telling you, when Franz come back, it's
they're dangerous.
It's like the Magic are just like the Oklahoma City Thunder in a way. They
Yeah.
have all these guys coming off the bench, all this length, all this size.
Yeah.
You know, it's man, it's like, yo, this is real tough. And we've seen teams, you know, like the Knicks, they struggle against teams that are built like this. All these top heavy
They're big.
teams.
Orlando's big. Like Jonathan Isaac, Goga, Wendell
Mhm.
Carter, France and Paulo are not. They're not like great defenders, but they're solid defenders. So they just their size. And Tristan Da Silva and Jet Howard. They're just a big team. Even Anthony Black, their backup guard, he's big. So that team just has a great like offense and defensive ratio. I think offense. Let's see what moves they make, but when it comes to the defensive end, they're tough.
Yeah, I feel like the small market teams like Orlando, Oklahoma City Thunder, they took a different team building route. They took the
Yeah,
more like, okay, we're gonna have a deep team, because you know
yeah,
sometimes the smaller market teams, because they don't have as much money, I think they planned ahead for the new CBA, while the richer owners like the Phoenix Suns, even the Knicks to a degree, with the way they got their team kind of constructed now, it's very top heavy. You're paying OG a lot of money. You're paying Towns heavy money. You're paying Brunson,
Mikhail, obviously.
you know, Mikhail and Brunson. So it's very top heavy. But the smaller
Yeah,
market teams, I think they looked ahead at the new CBA and they designed their teams kind of, you know, flat,
yeah,
because Orlando, they got what, Jonathan Isaac coming off the bench on a good contract. They got KCP on a decent contract. They got, you know, all these like young draft picks like Black. You know, they got all these guys, Cole Anthony, and it's like, damn, bro, they kind of like, their team is very deep, and it's gonna be very hard for these top heavy teams like the Knicks, the Phoenix Suns. It's gonna be very hard for them to stay healthy for a whole year and then compete with a whole team by the time they hit the playoffs that got like running like a 10-man rotation. That's what's happening right now. They're running like
yeah.
a 10-man rotation, and some of these teams are playing with like 6 guys, 8 guys. This is brand new. We've never really seen it play out like this before. So the Cavs,
Even the Rockets, Pistons are
yeah,
deep.
there's multiple teams. I'm
Yeah.
about to get to them right now. The Cleveland Cavaliers are built like this.
Mm,
They got a
They're
bunch of
deep.
role players that are impacting the game. The Boston
And
Celtics, to a degree, they're built the same way.
yeah,
Hold on, let me finish. There's a couple of teams here. The Atlanta Hawks are slowly working their way to being that type of team with the way they've constructed this roster right now. The Detroit Pistons are on their way of doing that also. The Houston Rockets, like you were saying, the Houston Rockets are deep, and
they're deep.
it's almost like the Mavericks in a way. The way you could tell they attacked this offseason, they sort of picked up that vibe. Like, yo, we have to get a deeper team. We have to get more guys in here. Let's get Najee Marshall. Let's get guys who can contribute. Let's get Clay on that good deal. You know, he's like on a good mid-level deal. They're making their teams deeper. And same thing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, before they traded Towns, they had a deep team. So them and Oklahoma City Thunder, they finished at the top of the West last year. And that's how Jokic ended up getting eliminated. He ran out of gas. There's like a lot of... It's almost like a new formula we're seeing in the NBA. That's happening slowly. And it's really having a deep, serviceable team. Like, you have your star, you kind of have your co-star, but you have like a bunch of guys in case injuries happen, etc.
I just think like the teams now, the way they view basketball, right? Especially these small market franchises like Atlanta and Orlando. It's you can't rush building a team at this point. I think like when you're those organizations, you're never really getting major teams to. You're never getting major players like Orlando. Let's be honest, they never really attracted a free agent throughout their history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same with the Hawks. So you have to make do of what you can. You have to make do of what you can, and I think these guys they've stretched it to where there's more flexibility. Let's say tomorrow France and Paulo don't work out, they still have the flexibility of moving on and building on from there.
Yeah, and it's almost like the CBA also is working in the small market team's favor. You know, like you
Yeah,
said, the teams that were regulated to build a team that type of way. Now
Yeah.
that's like the best way to operate with these new rules.
Yeah.
Because again, Houston, you look at Detroit, the way they're building their team out, Orlando, you know, Boston and Cleveland is like well, I would say Boston really is where you want to get at. You want to get a good co-star, a
Yeah.
decent serviceable star, and then you have a bunch of guys around it. But
Yeah.
Cleveland, low key, quiet as kept, yo, they sort of built their team like this too.
Yeah, but they're mixed, right? I think like Strus and like Max Strus and Niang, those guys kind of bring that veteran flavor that the team needs. But overall, they done a good job in kind of getting G League guys, Sam Merrill, and who else am I thinking of? Sam Merrill and something Jones, I believe he's on the team.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. They have a lot of serviceable players, and also
Yeah,
they landed on their picks. They got Okoro, you know, they got what's his name? They traded from Brooklyn also. That worked out well for him. He's almost six
Ty
man.
Jerome.
Yeah, Ty
Yeah,
Jerome. And also, what's his name out of Brooklyn? Karis LeVert. He's like on one of the six mans
Levert's
of the
the
year
six man.
candidates. Yeah,
Oh, Dean Wade is another solid guy. They just
exactly.
have really good players, and I think
And,
that's what it is.
and also these guys could defend multiple
Yeah.
positions, man. That's the beauty of it all. They're
Yeah.
defending
Oh,
multiple
they're a very
positions.
attractive team. They're a really attractive team. You know, I think like they have a good amount of like veteran players who can really dictate, and like good amount of like unselfish players, and that's what you need at the end of the day. Because Donovan Mitchell himself, he's 27, so he's close to his prime. But
Mm-hmm.
when you have like solid young, like good young guys, along with like solid role players, and they're willing to kind of sacrifice their roles, and like veterans, like even like Tristan Thompson, like let's be real, like he doesn't give a shit anymore that much. He's just collecting a check. So you have good voices in the locker room, and that's how you really build a team. And I think a lot of teams are noticing that. Like even Houston, they have like their signature veteran is Steven Adams.
Yep.
Oklahoma had it with like Mike Muscala for a few years.
Yep. Houston using that same formula, man. It's. I'm telling you, that's where Cam Whitmore. We were talking about it earlier. Cam Whitmore. That's where he's struggling with. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I can't get no minutes. Is because these teams have adapted the way they kind of built out their roster, man. And Cleveland is another beautiful example of a team on the come up, man. Sam.
yeah.
They also got what's his name? Like you said, Dean Wade. But you know what came through for them really is the Jarrett Allens, the Darius Garland, the
And
Karis
that Ben
LeVert.
Simmons trade.
Yeah,
The Ben
man.
Simmons trade came through for them because that fast forwarded their rebuild, and that made them comfortable enough to be like, that's I always like a team that takes a chance. And that's one thing I liked about Cleveland is they saw like a whole pivot. LeBron era's over, and you have like I think what at the time Sexton and you draft Garland. So you're like, you know what? Let's kind of fast forward the rebuild and kind of see what we could do, right? And I believe they got Jared Allen, Karis LeVert off those trades, and Torian Prince, and they made the most out of that move. And then you get obviously the chance to get Donovan Mitchell, you take it. And I think that's one thing you can never take away from Cleveland is they were they've thought ahead when it came to the rebuild, and they thought smart. They didn't like hesitate to make a move. Like
Mhm.
they knew that there's a chance Donovan could leave, but at the same time they said fuck it. Like if he leaves, we're back to like square one.
Yep.
And now like they're a contender. So those kind of organizations I respect, like teams that are willing to take a chance. I think small markets kind of get like pressurized or whatever to not take a chance on superstars or star players, and like this team specifically, I'm like, you know what, like this is awesome.
Yeah,
Like I'm happy they made it.
and that point exactly right there is what's hurting the larger market teams. Them not willing to take that risk anymore. Yeah, under these new CBA rules, that
Smaller market,
you
larger
get
market, or smaller
penalized.
market.
Yeah, you get penalized for that.
Yeah,
You get penalized for that. And then the smaller markets, it's almost like their approach now is the A approach. And then the big market
yeah,
teams, them like trying to quickly find a fix and not go through a rebuild, that actually hurts you. You end up like the Phoenix Suns.
yeah,
You end up like the
yeah.
Phoenix
You just get
Suns.
stuck.
Yeah, and it's so bad right now that even if you have a legacy player like KD, you can't even get out of it.
No, you're stuck.
You're just stuck, man. And also kudos to the Cavs, man. sticking with Isaac Okoro, man. That is working out lovely for them.
You know, I was kind of scared. I'm like, dog, are they not resigning? Because I actually liked him. He got drafted a little high, but he's solid. So I was like, what the hell's going on here? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy they did it.
Yeah, again, I just want to say the teams that in the league that kind of have this formula down pat is the Boston Celtics. That's at the high end. Then the Cavs, they're on the come up with that same formula. We see it work out this season perfectly for them. And then it's the Orlando Magic, the Pistons, the Oklahoma
Rockets.
City Thunder, yep, at the high end,
Yeah.
and then the Houston Rockets, yep.
You know, Memphis deserves their flowers. They done a
Oh
good
yeah,
job.
yeah, Memphis is using that same thing is working out for them also.
Yeah. I don't know why I always forget Memphis because for whatever reason, I always praise them, but I always forget they're young.
Mm-hmm. And I want to give I also want to state the Minnesota Timberwolves had this formula last season.
Yeah, but that Towns contract's crazy, and I think they could. I think they'll move on from Julius Randle if I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
I think they need to move on from Randle and just you got Anthony Edwards and you got Nas Reed and Gobert and figure it out from there.
So when you move off of Julius Randle, what are you really saying?
I'm saying you have to make a pivot.
No. What are you really saying? You're saying that basically the T-Wolves gave up Karl Anthony Towns for nothing.
For nothing.
So
Yeah,
what does that mean though? What does that mean though?
Flexibility. It means that the second apron has ruined the idea of taking a chance. Like it's ruined that.
I don't think it's that. I think it's them. I think the T-Wolves are actually not really in the business of winning like that.
No, they're not. A lot of
at
small
all.
market teams aren't, and Minnesota isn't.
Yeah, they're not at all. Because if you look at it, how the hell you trade Towns away, right? Because let's say they kept Towns, right? They paid the tax. Towns is still valuable. Other teams are still going to want to trade for him, right? But you traded Towns after making the Western Conference Finals. LeBron James is on the downhill. Kawhi is not healthy. You know, Luka.
Dallas is always questionable.
Yeah, and then Oklahoma City's on the rise, and it's like you just beat the defending champions, and it's like, okay, we're gonna just save money now. Like, come on, man.
And Denver's also on the decline. I don't know if you added that point.
Yeah, good point. Denver lost. Well, they're kind of on the decline because they're losing players. They're another team that didn't really want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah. Like they lost Bruce Brown, they lost KCP, they looked into Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, so it's these are interesting times, man. These are definitely interesting times. Have to make pivots. And speaking